I clearly tan obsessively. Hey guys! A few weeks ago I posted my very first Ask Andrea episode, which was really fun. One of the things that I mentioned when I was answering one of the other questions was that when I was little, I used to make Barbie movies. If you're curious, you can click here to watch the original video, but a lot of you guys commented about that and specifically zoned in on that and thought that was really funny. So I thought for this video, I would tell you some other childhood obsessions that I had. So you guys know that I'm a writer, and I probably mentioned it before how I've been writing since I was pretty little. But even before I started writing, I read obsessively. I really liked fantasy, but even before that, I was pretty obsessed with mysteries, especially Nancy Drew. I read so many of the original Nancy Drews. I didn't do a whole lot of the newer ones that were coming out, and probably still are coming out, but I would always go to the library and I would pick up 3 or 4 books, and then within the week I would finish all those Nancy Drew books, and then I'd go back and return them and get some more. In addition to all the books that I read, I also started playing the Nancy Drew computer games. I think they might have had, I don't know, 6 or 7 out when I first started playing them, maybe. They have over 20 out now. For Christmas, my parents got me Treasure in the Royal Tower and The Final Scene, and I played those so many times and beat them all, and then I had to go back and get, because those were the 4th and 5th games, so I had to go back and get the first 3, and then I kept building my collection, and actually, I still play those games. So since we're talking about computer games, that's a lovely little segue into the next category of things I was obsessed with. And that is video games. I can't actually remember when I first started playing video games, but at some point I decided I wanted a Game Boy, and it was sort of at the end of the Game Boy Color era and beginning the Game Boy Advance, so I got a Game Boy Advance. And here it is, my little GBA. The year on the back of this is 2002. This thing is so old. I played it so obsessively. When I wasn't reading, I was playing Game Boy. I played a few different games, but my absolute favorite was Fire Emblem. I actually started playing Fire Emblem when I got Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I really liked Marth on there. I always played Marth, and I wanted to know what game he came from, so I looked it up, and obsession. In addition to the Game Boy, soon after that, the first Nintendo DS actually came out, and I still have that too. This is the first generation. This was a special edition that came with Mario Kart, and I don't think they made Red other than the ones that came with Mario Kart, so I guess this one's kind of special. It kind of seemed like I had an obsession with Red. I really didn't. Anyway, I loved Mario Kart, and I also got Nintendogs. I absolutely love dogs and have since I can remember, and just the idea that little me could have her own puppies was just wonderful. I also got some of those Disney Channel games because I loved Disney Channel, and they always had to come out with a DS or a Game Boy game to go along with it, and usually they were pretty lame, but I liked them anyway. And I absolutely loved my GameCube. I played Super Smash Bros. Melee so many hours. That's probably the most obsessed I've ever been with a game at any point in my life. Slightly before that, I had the PS1, actually, and that was actually probably my first game console. Kind of veering away from nerdier things, but another thing that I was really obsessed with was animals. Dogs obviously were my favorite, but I also really liked cats, and I had hamsters for a little bit. I've owned 3 hamsters and loved them all. Apparently that was kind of a weird thing, like when I tell people when I was like a teenager that I had a hamster, I don't know. Teenage girls and hamsters, I guess. I also rode horses a little bit, not that much, but once in a while I had some friends who had some horses and would let us ride, and that was always really fun. I'm not one of those people who's fearless with animals. Like, I still get nervous once in a while, especially around horses and with little animals and stuff. Like, I'm still a little nervous to pick them up because I'm afraid they'll bite me. I have to sort of bond with them a little bit, like have a little trust in them, because I think I am a little bit cautious just in nature. But if it's a friend's pet or one that I've just been around a little bit and one that I know is not going to bite me, then I'm set. And I couldn't imagine life without animals. I'm one of those people who will go over to a friend's house, and if they have a puppy, like, I'm probably going to say hi to the puppy first, and then talk to the puppy more than the friend, and then miss the puppy more when I leave the friend's house. So yeah, I've painted a very lovely portrait of little me as someone who plays video games a lot and makes movies with dolls instead of people, and would rather talk to animals than her friends. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about little Andrea, pre-YouTube Andrea, long time ago. Let me know in the comments if you shared any of these obsessions when you were younger, or if you had any really weird ones of your own. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.